before it was time? I probably did. So let's roll with it anyways. Hey guys, welcome back. Big John here in Anchorage, Alaska. I am super excited to show you this big, ginormous slab of meat that I just got. Anyways, if you're new here, I live in Alaska. I'm a truck driver, and I have, within the last year or so, I have recently found something incredibly amazing. It's called the carnivore diet. I've been doing it for quite a while, and it's just working. Now I'm trying to come up with budget-friendly options in order to hopefully share with others and also learn something new in the process. And I like to do these random live streams just like this when I get something new and I just want to see, okay, what the heck am I going to do with this giant chuck roll? So I went down to Costco Business Center today. I purchased some ribeye steaks in bulk, halal ribeye. That's the best ones that I can find there. They're also cheaper than the Costco brand of ribeye steaks, so I like those as well. And they also provide me a much better, more tender type steak. And I wanted to do an experiment here with a giant chuck roll. I don't even know how much this thing weighs. 32 pounds. This is 32 pounds of meat. I mean, let's lift this sucker up. Okay, 32 pounds of meat. And the price here was pretty decent. It was, and of course, that's the only part of the sticker that's missing right at the moment. But it was something like $4.99 or $5.99 a pound here in Anchorage, Alaska, which is really not bad considering I can buy a big chunk of ribeye for half of this for approximately $12.99 a pound. And now I have like twice the amount of meat. So I got potentially 3 weeks worth of meat here if I can get this butchered down correctly. I don't know what to do with this thing. It's so big. It's almost intimidating to look at. And I've heard of other carnivores doing the chuck roll as well on their channel, and they've been using chuck roll primarily for their main course in their carnivore meals. And I wanted to see, okay, like how can I butcher this up? What can I do with it? And can I make something similar? Because some of these people are claiming that when they put it in the air fryer, it's similar to a ribeye steak. That is, yeah, I'm excited. So something else that I was wanting to experiment with, because I go through a ton of Ziploc freezer bags, and Ziploc freezer bags are more expensive. So I found some Kirkland brand freezer bags. I wanted to check these out. They were incredibly affordable at like $13 a box or something, compared to the Ziploc brand, which gives you a lot less for about 2 or 3 times more. So I wanted to check these out, see if they work. And so far, I mean, they're look like a pretty decent deal if I could figure out how to open them. But the one thing I do appreciate about Ziploc freezer bags is they have a really nice zipper on them. Now these feel, so far taking these out of the package, they feel pretty sturdy. And they do have a similar, very, very similar, oh, okay, that's not too bad. Now these are only the 1 gallons, so I'll be lucky to get one decent steak inside of this bag here. Let's check out the seal, see how that seals up, if it seals up as easy as the Ziploc bags. So far, no, but it's, okay, there it goes. It's doing incredibly well. All right, we're gonna check these out as well. But in the meantime, I gotta get this figured out. This is a giant piece of meat. 32 pounds of chuck roll for $5.99 a pound. I'm procrastinating right at the moment. I'm not sure what to do with this because I know there's specific ways you can kind of separate the different muscle groups. I have watched several videos on how to do this, and it's still intimidating to me. Now, the first time I got a ribeye in the house, I was nervous. I was scared. I was like, man, that's like a $200-something chunk of beef sitting in front of me, and I was just petrified of it. And I was like, how am I going to screw this up? But I did it in a process of just doing it. Eventually, you just get better, and then it just becomes so natural. But all right, I got my gloves. I got tons of bags. I'm probably gonna have to open up a lot more bags than I'm used to opening up in this process. So I don't know. We'll just sit here and talk a little bit, and I'll start preparing some of these bags because as I cut up this chuck roll, I'm gonna need a lot of bags already, opened up because I don't want to get all the meat, little stuff on the bags. So yeah, we're gonna open up a bunch of these. Weird comments. Let's see. You got some bots in here. I'm kind of used to the bots. Thank you, JG. Hey Don, I did the 15 pounds before. 15-pound chuck roll. Is that what you're talking about, Don? Why not just freeze wrap? Cheaper if you use it pretty quickly. They should be fine. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to process this no different than I do my ribeye steaks. But I'm using different type of freezer bags just because I want to. Just see if they're any better, any worse. But meat does not last long. I mean, one big giant ribeye, you know, cut up into 16 steaks. That's approximately 16 days worth of food for me. So if this can make more than 16 steaks, then I'll be ahead of the game at least 50% of the price. So that's another reason why I want to do this, is to you know, see what I can get to before my cats decide to jump up on the table. And I know like half of the viewers that come here, people complain about my cats jumping up on stuff, and it's like, dude, not your house. Don't worry about my cats. My cats do whatever they want in my house. They're working cats. I don't even know how many bags I got open yet, because I'm just talking and opening bags, and I'm gonna need probably double the amount that I normally need. And I normally open about, I can't remember, about 6-7 bags. So I'm just gonna get a big pile of bags ready and get them set over here. I might count them just in case, because I want to have enough bags. So I usually just set my bags over here in the corner. That way when I get enough meat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only got 7 bags open. Oh, dude, I got to open at least 14 bags. This is 30 pounds of meat. So I need another 7 bags. This is also why I bought discount freezer bags. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bags. 5, 6. And we're going to open up 14 of these bags. Just get them ready for when the process of cutting up this huge piece of meat comes. The only reason I open these bags is just so I don't have to fight with them when I have slippery hands. It is really, really annoying to try to package stuff when your bags aren't open ahead of time. The same thing goes for when you're doing when you're vacuum sealing. That's something else I wanted to put these through the test through, because you can vacuum seal with regular freezer bags. You just simply cut this thing off, and then you just cut these little pieces and stick them in like straws, and it'll work in your vacuum sealer, no problem. I have to do a video on that at some point, because that is one of my planned videos that I wanted to do. I might do it soon. I don't know. I have also started another YouTube channel for those of you that don't know yet, but that channel hasn't even been fired up yet completely. I just barely got it started today. I had one sitting and waiting just in case something happened to this channel, you know, because we say things on the internet at times that might be considered stuff that YouTube doesn't like. So if they happen to just randomly ban the channel, I could immediately start up this other channel, and I could just move all of my videos over there if I had to, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a good thing either, because you lose all that, you know, previous watch time, etc., etc. Okay, so back to this big ginormous piece of meat. I'm gonna get my other glove on, and then we're gonna try to figure out what I am gonna do as far as processing this, because this is probably going to be a little bit messy, I would imagine, right? Messy? Okay, what are we saying here? They can jump on your refrigerator. Your cats are your cat. I believe so too, Mr. Martinez. Thank you. Hello, big man. Everyone, hit the like button if you ain't a bot and troll. Right on. Hey, Putty Cat, you see any nonsense up there, you're free to remove that stuff. I don't know. I haven't looked through everything. That's a good deal on beef. Yeah, I mean, 30 pounds, about $5.99 a pound. The total is $191. So about $200 for, you know, 30 pounds of, holy cow, this is heavy. And even for me, it's heavy. And I'm a big, giant dude. All right, couple puffs on the vape, just so I can get in the mood to actually get filthy with this thing. And then hopefully Yeah, hopefully. And at some point, I want to test out one of these steaks in the air fryer. Could probably get that going at the same time. Yeah, because I got this awesome air fryer behind me. It's called the Ninja Double Stack Air Fryer. I love that thing. I mean, it's so versatile. If you guys are interested in that, I do have an affiliate link in the description section of the live stream. You can check it out. All right, I got to get this big thing over to the sink, and I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. Ugh. All right, that's heavy. Okay. I'm coming back. Don't worry. I'm not going that far away. But I just got to get this opened up, starting to drain a little bit. And then hopefully I can get this process going here, because this is going to be a lengthy process that's very intimidating to me. So, okay. You guys kind of got the basic angle there. I got my big giant fillet knife. I have another knife that I have in mind that I want to get. But for right now, a fillet knife works really well. And this is a pretty long fillet knife. I don't know the exact measurement of it. Now, before I get going with any meat slicing, I always run it through the sharpener just a little bit, because I don't like having a whole lot of problems when I'm cutting through meat. You know, and it's amazing how fast, you know, these knives go dull. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to cut this off here, just to get that opened up. Ah! We're going to have a mess. Okay. So now to help the process here, holy moly, that is huge. We're going to let that drain out a little bit, drain off a little bit of the red juice. And you just jiggle it around, loosen it up, you know, let it do its thing. Then we can run our knife right down and get that cut the rest of the way, all the way down. And somehow I did that without even touching the meat. Wow, this thing is way bigger than I thought. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. That is huge. That is huge and kind of scary looking. Now, I am not a professional at butchering anything. And something else I like to have on hand is a red towel. You know, that way when you wipe your hands down a little bit, you're not getting it all on you. But okay, so I have a wet rag here, and this wet rag is just a wash rag. And the only reason for this is it helps when I place my cutting board up here to create a little bit of traction. That way when it doesn't slip when I get it up here on that surface. Anyway, this is the largest cutting board they have at Costco, by the way. And these things are incredibly cheap, incredibly affordable. I have several different size cutting boards because I do a lot of butchering now all by myself at my house. Okay, the process of getting this out of the sink, because this is 30 pounds of freaking meat. This would be hard if you were a little old lady. You know, I understand why not everybody butchers their own meat, especially in amounts like, holy goodness. Ugh. Okay, that part's done. We're going to get it over here. We're also going to get some paper towels, which are all the way over across the room. And we're going to start to pat this dry a little bit. This is almost a done roll of paper towels, so I don't care. I'll probably wind up using the whole thing. But yeah, we're going to pat this a little bit drier than what it is. Now I got to figure out the muscle groups if I want to do this in a certain way. But the only reason I'm patting this a little bit dry is just to make this process a little cleaner and a little bit easier. This doesn't have to be done, because I've done it both ways. I've pat it dry and I didn't pat it dry. It didn't matter. No matter what, it still gets cut up into steaks. Wow, this is really juicy. Look at all that extra fat and stuff. Some of this I'm gonna have to figure out. What a mess. Wow, this is incredibly messy compared to doing a regular ribeye. And the nice thing about this is I'm going to eat every bit of this. Now there is going to be a little bit that I will be feeding to the dog. I don't know much about silver skin or anything like that. I can't even identify it, so I mean, don't shame me. But man, this is a deal. I mean, $200 for 32 pounds of meat. All right, on this side, it's really hard for me to tell what's what. So I'm gonna have to flip this back over now that I did pat it dry a little bit on one side. Okay, so I gotta figure out what to do here. So it looks like I can cut this piece off pretty reliably, and then I can work from there. All right. Let's see here. Let's see how bad I can butcher this thing, because I don't know. This is a huge piece of meat. But I want to be able to make something similar to steaks out of this. And you guys can yell and scream in the background. I can't see you at the moment. I don't know what's going on there. So thank you admins that are helping me out. I appreciate every single one of you, because you really make doing live streams that much easier for me. Okay, that is a big muscle there. That is huge. All right. I'm not sure if I know I'm not doing this correctly, but that's okay. This is all part of learning. Okay, we're gonna rotate that a little bit. Let me make sure you guys have a halfway decent angle there. That's a little bit better. I'm sorry. I really am considerate. I try to do the right things. And this is how you cut yourself. Okay. Let's see. How do I want to run that down through? So I'm trying to make steaks out of this the best I can. And they don't have to be perfect. All right. That is amazing. Look at that. Woo. Okay. Hey, did I mention? I think I did. I've never done this before. Not with a chuck roll. I mean, holy moly. I almost need 2 cutting boards. I'm gonna get a second cutting board out for this. So I got my main cutting board here. Now we're gonna get a little cutting board out. We're gonna set this one over here on the other one. I'm gonna process that up first. Oh, this is nuts. That is so big. I'm gonna wash some of this down. Rinse my gloves off now. Get all that coagulated fun stuff out of my sink. Okay. Yeah, did I mention that this was a little nerve-wracking for me, because having a piece of meat this size is quite intimidating. Thankfully, it's inexpensive. Okay, you guys can kind of see what's going on. So, I'm not sure I have to like inspect this thing. Okay, that's kind of what we have going on here. What a mess. Chuck roll is not the easiest thing to navigate when you don't know what you're doing. We're just going to try to start a steak. See what happens. Okay. That's a pretty decent steak. That's about a pound, a little bit under a pound for my little experience. So we're going to do about an inch, inch and a half cuts. And this cut's really easy when you're using a fillet knife. So yeah, you can see here how the different muscles and stuff are loosened up. So each one of these is approximately a meal for me. Now that one's got a nice fatty piece in there. Now you got to make sure there's no bones in there, because sometimes you can get little chunks of bone. That's not a real big deal if you're an adult. So that's another steak. Well, I wonder how many steaks I can get out of this. These are going to be kind of small, so I can make them a little bit fatter. And my air fryer is going to do 90% of the work for me. And I kind of want to see how these cook up in the air fryer. So right after we get done just cutting up, processing this little piece here, I'm going to get one started in the air fryer to see what the finished product's going to turn out to be. All right. So these are going to be some smaller steaks. But if this works out, I mean, I'll be saving so much money, you know, compared to buying just ribeye, you know, big giant bulk ribeye after big giant bulk ribeye. Because I was originally going to buy a case of these, and a case of these is about $300-400, and that gives you, like, you know, 3 packages of 30-pound of chuck roll. And I was like, well, I've never processed a chuck roll, so I wanted to start with a single chuck roll and see what happens, and see what I think of it. You know, because that would be a very, very incredibly small steak for me. I would need a lot more than that, you know, for a meal. So I have to get that into consideration and figure that out too. But now I can see the benefit of buying this, because look at all that extra fat in there. Now that fat is what I eat, you know, because you need to eat all the fat, the connective tissues, and stuff like that for your body to function properly on the carnivore diet. So all that extra fat, this big giant piece of fat, that is all dinner for me. And I find that my body works incredibly well when I'm burning fat. And I feel so much better. I feel so much better now that I found this diet. I mean, I'm losing weight. My body's naturally just doing its own thing. Okay, I am not worried about perfect. See, there's a little piece of fat there. I can make that, cut that up and make that into little bitty fatty bites in the air fryer too, and it's going to cook up quite nicely. So now I'm down to this little piece, which is odd. All right, let's see, what do we got here? That's an interesting piece there. Yeah, that's the fun thing, I guess. You know, people were talking about chuck roll butchering, is that sometimes you just have incredibly interesting pieces. Some people like them, some people don't. All right, but my point is I want to see how this is going to cook up in the air fryer. All right, let's see here. So what am I going to do here? I got my odd bits here. We're going to start salting these up. And I also, see, how much can I fit in my basket? All right, that's an odd piece. I'm going to see if I can fit like all of this in one basket. I'm not sure if that's even going to work. So I might have to set this one aside for the moment and see what out of this I can get in my basket and see how I can get it to cook up. So here's my air fryer basket. The only seasonings I use right now is Redmonds real garlic salt. I like this stuff a lot. We're just going to season the crap out of this. And then we're going to pop it in the air fryer, just like I would a regular steak, and hope for the best. Now these are going to cook a little funny because they're all different size and shapes. So it's going to get charred a little differently. It's not going to be even, that's for sure. All right. And yes, I use a lot of salt on the carnivore diet. So if you like to use a lot of salt, I mean, the carnivore diet might be the perfect option for you, because yeah, you get to salt all your meals as much as you want. See, I got that one piece in there. This piece is definitely going in there. I might not fit it all, but we're gonna try. Okay, that's gonna be good enough. We're gonna have a little bit of overlap, but that's okay. That one little piece is just kind of small and odd. Gotta wipe my gloves off again. All right, we're gonna take that. We're gonna pop it in the air fryer. Ta-da! Just like that. I love this thing. Okay, we're gonna turn you on. You gotta select the top right there. Choose air fry. Temperature 400 degrees. Always 400 degrees. Let's see. We're gonna start out with a cook time. So those are odd pieces. We're gonna start out with a cook time of 17 minutes. We're just gonna let that run. We're gonna start working on the rest of these. And I'm actually gonna start putting some in a bag right now. Okay, getting these put away. I can see where I'm gonna need a lot of these bags. All right, there's a steak. There's another one. So those two right there in that bag, that's approximately one meal for me. Normally what I do is I put 2 ribeyes in a Ziploc bag. So if I can fit, 2 meals in each Ziploc bag, then that's going to really help me out. And these are the cheaper Kirkland Ziplocs. Ziploc, I know, it's a brand name. But, so if that works, okay, which it looks like it's going to work. But how easy are these to seal? Not too bad. Push this air out. Okay, not bad. I mean, that's what we got there. So each one of these, that's going to be a meal for me right there. So even though I was able to put 4 steaks in there, I'm still getting approximately 2 steaks of what I'm used to in each bag. And I did cut them a little bit thicker than I normally do. Because why not? Now, normally my steaks are pretty thin. Little bitty, weird bit. That's a big fat steak there. Oh, that thing looks delicious all by itself. Okay, I'm probably not going to get as much in this bag because these are a little bit bigger cuts. So there we go. I got 3 in that bag. We're going to call this one good. Get it zipped up. Okay, the Kirkland discount Ziploc bags. So far, I really enjoy them. I am not upset with that. I wasn't sure if I was going to like these, because I am very particular on how I store my meat. All right, that's an odd piece right there. That's not bad. I like that. This is a little bit more fun than messing around a ribeye steak because you do have a lot of these odd pieces. Because for what? It's a chuck roll, so yeah, you're going to have some odd pieces in the mix there. Let's see, what are we going to do with you, big boy? How am I going to cut this to make this make sense? I'm thinking literally right down the middle. And then we can make all of that one side in the steak, the other side in the steak. That's what we're doing. All right. Okay. Nice sharp knife helps. That should be all the way through. Wow. All right, we'll just put these 2 cutting boards together and hope for the best here. My goodness, this is crazy. The size of this thing. All right, about an inch, inch and a half. We're going to do the same thing with this all the way down. Not being fussy. Don't care. Then we'll just see what we end up with at the end. All right, let's go. And I'm sitting here drooling over this and waiting for the air fryer to be done to see what happens there. Because I'm so curious to see what that's going to come out like. I mean, is it going to be tough? Is it going to be edible? I mean, if it's edible, you know, we're in a winning situation here. Because before, when I made, you know, like stew meat, which is typically what this is, a lot of chuck is typically stew meat because it's a little bit different muscle. Oh, that's super thick there. That's a big, thick steak there. But I think that's the fun part about the carnivore diet is you can just grab random cuts of meat, experiment. You know, you can try stuff like this cut roll, you know, chuck roll idea and see how it works for you. I mean, this might not work for everybody. They might not like chuck roll at all. But if this can make a product in the air fryer similar to a ribeye steak, it's such a winning situation, I believe. Okay. Getting down to the thinner end of this. All right, now I can start getting some of this bagged up. I'm going to have some odd bits at the end because the chuck roll is a funny cut of meat in the first place. So like this here, super fatty, which is good because I like the fat. But now I can take this and, you know, turn it into something potentially. All right, this bag is not completely full. So I need to figure out a couple pieces to put in here. So that'll finish off that bag. This knife needs to frick off in a corner. Huh. Okay, see if I can get this one sealed up. Push some of that air out. Alright, so each one of these bags is containing approximately 2 meals for me. Because I do an OMAD type diet. So look at that. Wow. Okay. Why does this excite me so much? This is, I don't know. You guys probably think I'm a weirdo. Like, dude, seriously? That's all you're going to eat? Just steak for the rest of your life? Well, yeah. I mean, pretty close to that. I mean, I don't eat 100% steak all the time, but now I can take these two little random pieces and shove them in here. That'll work out just fine. Okay, so when I started, I opened up, what was it? About 14 of these bags. I think I might be pretty close to when I get done. I'm gonna have 30 pounds of meat to put in the freezer. And I got, thank goodness, I got a freezer in the back of the house. You know, I don't know about you guys. You got a freezer in your bedroom? All right, I got a big steak. Oh my goodness, that one's huge. The size of that thing, that is gorgeous looking. All that yummy meat. They're definitely going to be enjoying life for the next couple of weeks while I figure out, you know, how much of this I'm going to eat. That's 2 pretty good sized steaks there. I'm going to call that a bag. Now, I don't know if you guys like, you know, cooking your air fryer steaks from thawed or frozen, but I like mine. I like to take them out the day before and I put them in the fridge, and then I start cooking them from there because I don't like them 100% thawed out. I like them to be a little bit frozen. That way I get a much better steak out of my air fryer. Wow, that was a thick bugger right there. Super thick. That's a nice chunk of hard fat in the middle. And The air fryer softens all of that fat up right there, and it makes it incredibly tasty and edible. Now the fat should be able to, it should all be edible. It should melt in your mouth. You know, if it's cooked all the way and it's cooked right, yeah, it should melt in your mouth. Okay, so slight disadvantage to these bags is the zipper is a little bit hard to get started, but the benefit is once you get it started, it works just fine. This seems to be doing a pretty decent seal. I said sear. Okay. But yeah, I wonder how many meals I'm really going to get out of this. I don't think I'm going to sit there and count them all. All right. This is going a lot smoother than I expected. I might be able to get you in there too. But yeah, you can make random stew meat out of this. You can use it for making chili. That's something I want to do at some point, make like a carnivore chili. It's winter time here in Alaska, and we're having some really warm temperatures, but I have been craving stuff like chili. All right, here we are, getting down to the last one. Okay, got you laid out. All right, let's see what I can do with this giant slab of meat, because this is an awkward angle here. So we're going to square this off and see what happens on the rest of the way down. Okay. So again, my main goal is to try to make something that resembles steak out of this. That way when I get home out of work, I can just take one of these or two of these and put them in the air fryer. And then I have dinner within about 16 to 17 minutes. Because I don't have a lot of time after I get out of work. So it's pretty much get out of work, eat dinner, and then I take a shower and I go to bed. All right. Let's see. There's a big giant piece of fat that runs right through here. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? I mean, I don't know if what you can see, because I haven't been able to really look at the chat. We're just cutting steak out of a chuck roll. And I'm just praying that this is a great solution, because like this is a $200 piece of meat here. So down here, this is tapering off to the end. We're just going to cut some medallions out of this. I don't think thick or thin really matters. There we go. I got these tasty little medallions down here on the end. No longer need that. Let me rinse my hands off one more time. And then we're going to start packaging these and be done with that. And hopefully by the time I'm done with this, the air fryer will be done. I can sit down and I can actually eat some of these with you guys, let you know what the experience is, because so far I'm kind of in love. So that's the oddball piece. So we're going to go down further. We're going to take the rest of the oddball pieces, toss them all in the same bag here until we get a somewhat full bag. I think I can get one more in there. Okay. Get that one up. Oops, I got some air in that bag. I don't want air in the bag. The less air you have in the bag, the less chance it will brown when you have it in the freezer. Okay, I might have opened too many bags this time. I thought I did my math right, but I might have done it wrong. 1, 2. You see there. Okay, try a smaller one. That's a nice chunk of meat there. Okay, when we're done, I'll count the bags and I'll with you guys before I toss everything in the freezer. And if my judgment's correct, air fryer should be darn near close to done. All right, we're gonna do 2 of those. These are thick, so that'll be good for 2 meals. So each one of these bags for me holds approximately 2 meals worth of meat. And yes, I did open up too many bags. Okay. Wow, that went way faster than I expected. Like way faster than I expected. I did not think I would get through that chuck roll that fast. But then again, I'm not being picky. I'm not really separating all the muscle groups to get anything really specific. So, okay. Put you in the sink. Put you over in the sink. Toss that in there. Gotta wipe up the area a little bit. We're gonna have to clean all of this up here in just a little while. Whoa. All right, a lot of my anxiety is gone. Let's see what we got here. So each bag, like I said before, contains approximately 2 meals, maybe 3 meals of meat. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 times 2, that's 20, approximately what, 22 meals? 22 meals of meat out of 1 chuck roll. That's approximately 32 pounds. I did open too many bags. That's okay, I can shove all these right back in the container where they came from. And we're looking at, oh wow, I did good on that one. Look at that. So I got a few seconds remaining there. That means I can start getting a plate out and ready. And, I wish my house was a little different. This is the disadvantage of living in a trailer home. Okay, so that's there, that's there. I need to move some stuff. Let's go over here. This is only for just a minute. I need to move this stuff out of the way. So, because these air fryer baskets, once you pull them out, it's all done. Oh my Lord, look at that. They sit perfectly like on these little burners here. That doesn't look bad. I don't know. Let's see what happens when I get them on a plate and we get a knife and we start cutting into these things. This is the smaller little odd bit that I had in there. And this is all chuck roll. If you guys don't know, if you haven't been watching the whole stream, I understand. That is chuck roll. And I wanted to see how it's just going to work. All right, so one thing I have noticed already is that when I cook a ribeye steak, I have a lot more grease on the bottom of the pan there. So that means there's not a whole lot of fat in there. I'm not going to cry about it. Now I need to get a fork over to the table. Let's see. Let's get some water. I need to get some water, and I need to get a knife for this. So I'll grab a glass, get some water going. Then after the stream, I'm going to have a mess to clean up. It's part of doing these things. I'm going to grab my wife's hunting knife. I like this. I love this little knife. This thing is so sharp for cutting weird meats. Just an inexpensive hunting knife my wife purchased. She was going to use it for, you know, skinning like wild rabbits and birds and stuff like that. For your uncle, it's Uncle Henry knife. It comes in a package like that, so it holds 2 different knives. See if we can get some water going. And then we can sit down and eat. Because I'm so curious to see how this is going to turn out. So it's like just slapped it in the air fryer, 17 minutes at 400 degrees. I'm just curious. I'm curious about a lot of things. That's why I do these streams. They just randomly do live streams and like, hey, this is my life. This is me being an idiot on camera. Because why not? I mean, why are people so scared to be recorded? Anyways, everywhere you go in life, you're being recorded. You go to Walmart, you go to the gas station, you're on camera. And then people get upset. Like if you're just sitting there like recording stuff. Like, oh, how dare you record me? Like, seriously, you got 32 other cameras facing you and they hear audio too. Okay. So whine about me trying to make content when I'm out in public. Doesn't bother me at all anymore. It used to. You know, when I first started doing vlogs and grocery stores and stuff like that, it was stressful. I was so worried about what people thought of me. But I started getting good at it. So when you get good at it, you ignore everybody. You're still polite. You try to stay out of the way. I'm just resealing these bags so nothing gets inside them. And I can put them back and reuse them later. So, okay, those are my leftover bags. Because I opened a few too many. Not a big deal. Now, figure out how they put them in the box. I don't even know how they got out of the box. So just kind of, you know how you just pull them? They come out. So, okay, those are back in the box. Steak. Like, not even normal steak. Did you buy those chuck rolls from? I bought this at Costco Business Center. Yes, I did. And I was just so curious to see. We're gonna start with this really oddball piece because it looks interesting. Okay, overcooked. Very tasty. The little edges are crunchy. Almost like the crunch of a bacon. You know, a little bit slightly overcooked bacon. The garlic salt is amazing on there. All right, next we're going to cut into a little bit bigger piece. I hope this angle is kind of okay. All right. I'm excited. I'm doing the carnivore diet. This is 90% of what I eat right here. Just meats and fats. All right, this piece is definitely, oh man, that is gorgeous. Look at that. I like that one. That is a nice piece of meat. It looks super juicy and tender. Okay. Yeah, look at that drip. That is awesome. Now, I'm not the kind of guy that sits there and like lets a steak rest for any amount of time. I'm hungry when I cook my food. I just cook it and then I eat it. And yeah, sometimes it's helpful to let it rest if you have time for that. But if you don't have time for that, just eat it. It's whatever. It just makes its own natural steak sauce, especially if you salted it correctly. So all of this juice down here is like salty. It just tastes amazing. Okay. It's not bad. And I'm a guy that eats ribeye steak every single day. I've been eating ribeye steak for the last... When did I get home from Nome? I don't remember exactly when I got home from Nome, but it's been months. It's been one ribeye steak every single day almost for that entire time since I got back from Nome. And that was right before winter time. Now I'm experimenting with new different types of meats and steaks and seeing how they go, seeing how they work. And I would never have thought in a million years that chuck roll would come out in an air fryer and be somewhat edible. This is juicy, similar to a ribeye. Very edible. Very tasty, very delicious. Okay. That's the little oddball piece there. That was the real big fat chunk. Now, these are all the odd cuts This one looks like that yummy part of a ribeye steak. I can't remember what it's called anymore because I keep forgetting. But that piece that runs around the top of a ribeye. Oh, it is so good. That one little, and it feels when I poke it, it feels just like that one piece. Okay, that's a nice medium. Look at that, super moist, I mean squishy. It's squishy. It's not like super tough. We're gonna cut that one more time. I'm gonna take smaller bites because I don't want to be the guy on the internet that chokes on a ribeye steak or chokes on chuck roll. Right in the middle of life. That would be probably hilarious, and I'd get a whole lot more views and likes to the video if I was like choking and laying on the floor almost dying from eating this. All my vegan followers would hit the like button for that. They'd be like, yeah, he's dying. Yeah, hit the like button for that. Would you hit the like button for that? Okay. This is, so far I have not had one bad bite. And chuck roll has random connective tissue running through it. It has random fatty spots that are some fatty spots are a little tougher than others. But it seems like the air fryer just did its job. It just kind of blended in everything equally. Gave it a nice crust on the outside. Can't argue with this. Alright, so maybe chuck roll might be my next big purchase again. I might just keep doing chuck roll. Although I do love ribeye steaks, guys. I love them because they do the math for you. You know, you purchase a ribeye steak, almost any part of the ribeye steak just about has equal value as far as the dietary nutrition facts. But because it has the perfect amount of fat, the perfect amount of protein, the right amount of connective tissue for anybody doing the carnivore diet. That's why people, if you want a shortcut into the carnivore diet, if you can afford it, figure it out, buy ribeye in bulk and cut your own steaks. That is the cheapest way to do the carnivore diet. But the ribeye steak does all the figuring for you. You don't have to wonder, am I getting enough fat? Am I getting enough protein? It's all right in a ribeye steak. Because as soon as I started eating ribeye steaks on the carnivore diet, and this is transitioning from eating 80, 20, 70, 30 ground beef. As soon as I started eating the ribeye steaks, I mean, everything health-wise took off for me. It started happening so fast. I mean, I started learning new things like it wasn't anything I was learning. I was just absorbing information, from all over the place. You know how when you scroll through short videos, just over and over and over again, you forget the last 3 short videos. But now I can scroll through short videos. I can cherry pick the information I want out of each one of those videos, and it just sticks right up here in my head. And that's all because of the diet that I'm doing. It's a strange miracle. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, I've tried 4 different pieces out of this, and these are the random odd weird cuts that you would always put in your stew. And you would put in your crock pot for 12 to 24 hours on low and just let it cook overnight without removing the lid of the crock pot. And then sometimes they would still be really tough. I haven't experienced any toughness in any of this chuck roll. Now, like I said, some of it is a little crispier because some of the pieces are odd. They're all super moist. I mean, you can see the juice on my plate. Look at that. That's a lot of juice on the plate. I don't want to dump it on the table. That's all the natural juices that are coming out of this chuck roll. Very, very similar experience to eating a ribeye steak. At 50% less cost. Maybe this works for you, maybe it doesn't. Now, I have talked to carnivores like early on in the beginning of my carnivore type journey and my weight loss journey. A lot of them were only eating you know, stew meat and chuck roll steaks. You know, odd cuts like this. You know, for one, when you look at it on a plate, does that look awesome? I mean, no, it doesn't look nearly as beautiful as a nice ribeye steak, just kind of sitting there perfectly. You know, a chef made it and just, but it doesn't have to taste good. So my seasonings are just simple. It's just garlic salt, air fryer, 17 minutes on 400 degrees. Give it that nice crust. All these pieces are full of juice and flavor. What in the world? That was awesome. I kind of like that little piece because it kind of reminds me of eating bacon. The little crunchy. These little bits right here, nice and hard and crunchy. Now that's one thing you miss when you start the carnivore diet, is the crunch. The crunch of potato chips, the crunch of, you know, eating a bag of Cheetos, super unhealthy crap that used to give you that crunch sensation. Maybe even eating a bag of microwave popcorn. There's one thing you miss. So you have to find alternatives to satisfy that crunching sensation at times. And sometimes crunchy bacon, little crunchy bits. I like making little crunchy fatty bites in the air fryer. That works really well. Oh, by the way, I had today off. I had today off from work because we got some really strange weather coming here to Anchorage. The temperature's been like 40s, and I think yesterday it got up to 50. It's been raining, which is really odd for this time of year. And I heard people down in Florida were getting snow in places. Crazy. But it's happened before. Just remember this. All this crazy weather we're experiencing right now has happened before. Global warming, whatever. Doesn't matter. We have weird weather patterns throughout the world, and it all spreads like, what, 10 or 15 years apart? And then it'll happen again. People will just get amnesia and they forget all about it. And then it'll happen again. They'll be like, oh, this has never happened before. The weather is so warm in Alaska. Why is it so warm? Well, it's happened several times since I've lived up here. 2014 was the last time I think that it was recorded this warm in Anchorage, Alaska. And when it warms up here in the wintertime, this time of year, we get a lot of wind. And that's what it's kind of doing outside. It's getting windy. It's blowing houses apart, blowing roofs off. There was snow in the panhandle of Florida, 8 inches. Yeah, that happens from time to time. I remember a while ago, Florida got some pretty low temperatures. Like all their citrus died off. It was horrible. It was so bad. And I was hauling freight out of there. And yeah, their crops were just decimated. I mean, just dead oranges everywhere, dead grapefruit or whatever they grow down there. But yeah, those people were struggling that year. I mean, people in their homes were like acting like they were freezing to death and dying at like 30 degrees, but I get it. You know, the homes aren't as well insulated. Most of them don't even need a heater for the majority of the time they've actually lived there. That's a delicious little bite. Uh-oh. Oh, my cat. I gotta figure out how to put this stuff away. My cat's gonna get into it. But, okay. This is what Kitty does. Over here getting the treats. So, I gotta come up with a plan. I got a lot of meat to put away. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. I'm just gonna stack them all in this chair and figure out if I can fit them all in this freezer. Look out, pup. And if not, I'm gonna have to put them in the back freezer, which is fine too. Oh, jeez. 30 pounds of meat. Man, this is so much fun. People are like, oh, it's gross. You're just going to eat meat for the rest of your life. Like, well, not 100% meat for the rest of my life, because I do eat some fruit and veggies. And this is an annoying thing to see. It's like, why? Really? Why? Why would you do this? The life of a carnivore father with family that is obviously not worried about anything they eat. So, just kind of whatever. I don't know what I'm doing here. Alright. We're just going to have to make room, figure this out, and figure out where to put the other stuff here in a little bit. I should have weighed some of these just to see what they weighed, because I cut these a whole lot thicker than I normally cut them. Okay. I'm gonna wind up breaking my rack here. I'm gonna get too much on the rack. How many bags I get in here? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I got 8 of those. Shove that ice cream down there. I'm not against ice cream. My friend came up with a really great solution for ice cream on the carnivore diet too. It's cottage cheese and blueberries in the blender. Works out really well. Oh, I only got 4 bags left. I think I can fit that in this freezer. What do you guys think? Or no, yeah, 4 bags. Oh, that is heavy. That is heavy. I'm gonna lose my cat in the freezer because I'm gonna shut the door. And it's gonna have to stay in there. All right. Goodness. Almost done. Anybody else have a drawer just full of bags? Or am I the only one? I'm pretty sure everybody else does that too. We just save all the plastic bags, especially since everything went pretty much to paper bags. Okay, there we go. A big giant bag of broccoli. What's in the door? What do we got here? I don't know what that stuff is. What in the world? We had muck tuck. That's muck tuck right there. You guys know what muck tuck is? That's whale. That's whale. These are little pieces of muck tuck. This is what my relatives like to snack on, stuff like that when they come down from Nome. Muck tuck is good when it's fresh. I'm not super excited about muck tuck when it's been sitting in the freezer burnt for a while. What's the point of this? This bothers me. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with that. It's just in the way now. Oh look, Sadie, we got a treat for you. A little piece. Here you go. It's right there in front of you. Go get it. Go get it. Oh, wrong way. I hit a button. Got meat. Got my light. Got dirty lens. Okay, wow. You guys are awesome. This has been a really good stream for me. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Now, where are we at? I need to pay attention to you guys. I haven't been able to look at the thread there. Upstate New York here. Oh, hey there. Holly Hobbies. Yep, good. Boiled with mustard. I prefer beluga whale. Beluga's pretty good. I can't remember if it was beluga or gray whale that I liked the most. One of them tasted like silt. I can't remember. I think it was the beluga whale that tasted like silt. And I liked the gray whale better. It had more of a natural oceany type flavor. The beluga whales, they love running up through the inlets, and they like really shallow water. They chase all the little fish, the hooligans and whatnot, and they can kind of harass them. Okay. So this kind of answers my question about, is chuck roll a viable, sustainable carnivore diet type treat for me? And so far, I'm not upset with it. I mean, ribeye steak is always going to have a place in my heart. You know, after I figured out just how awesome it is and how easy it is to just figure out without any math. Don't have to do any macro counting, calorie counting, or anything like that. And just maintain weight loss. So I can eat as much as I want. I don't gain weight. If I start cutting calories, yeah, I'm going to lose. You lose weight no matter what. If you cut calories, that's one way to lose weight. But over time, even if you overeat fatty red meats, I found out that the body just kind of equalizes itself. It just tells you, okay, when you're full, you finally start to recognize those hunger signals that you didn't recognize before, which got us into overeating in the first place, made us morbidly obese. And I'm trying to fight obesity. I don't want to be 435 pounds ever again in my life. And if this way of eating can be sustainable to keep me down below, 400 pounds, 300 pounds. I'm down below 300 pounds now. That's amazing. I mean, for any length of time, I'm below 300 pounds. I was over 300 pounds for, I think, over 20 years of my life. And I'm 50 years old now. So I can't really complain. Now I'm starting to gradually get down closer to 235 pounds. And in May will be my 2-year anniversary for when I started the entire weight loss journey combined. And it's taken me so many different places. I've met so many different people just doing a weight loss journey. I've had so many great conversations with people around the world, people around Alaska, people are just curious because they knew me from previous life when I was really, really fat. And now I'm just like this tiny little guy that actually has a neck now and doesn't require a CPAP to go to bed. That can get fixed too. I mean, a lot of CPAP issues get better with weight loss. And yeah, sure, there's the rare option that people don't get cured from weight loss. But man, everybody can benefit by losing a little bit of weight if you're morbidly obese. Oh, that was an amazing bite there. Okay. Yeah. I'm in on this. This is... I don't even know which piece I took that out of. That might have been part of the small little tiny bit that got overcooked. But that hit all the amazing feelers and taste and stuff like that. It just hit it all. But again, chuck roll, it doesn't look good. But neither do sardines. But sardines are super healthy and nutritious. I'm starting to gain a like for sardines now. It's especially since I started trying out some new ones. And I had no idea that there was this world of sardines out there that some people are really interested in. And I'm starting to become more interested in it too. There's whole terminologies to the fish and the way the fish are packaged, and it's actually quite mind-boggling. Hi there, Gary. Yeah, we're experimenting with chuck roll today. And yeah, so far I'm blown away by the chuck roll. It's just silly. I wanted to force that little chunky bit off the end. That little piece right there was like a really crispy kippered beef jerky. I love kippered beef jerky. I just wish they didn't put so much sugar and stuff in them. Okay. Yeah, I can't really argue with that. Let's see what's going on. Anybody talking? Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Big, small, juicy. Sardines are delicious. I mean, if once you fully transition into the carnivore diet, your taste buds change. And sardines actually start tasting good, especially if you buy quality sardines. I'm not talking about the really crappy, slimy ones you typically see. You start buying the weird cans, the weird looking cans, the funkier the label, from places like New Zealand, Denmark. Some of those sardines are hand packed. So there's workers in the factory, they just take X amount of sardines, they're kind of inspecting them, and they're packing them in a container to hopefully give you the best quality sardine. And there's so many different varieties and sardines that come from everywhere. It's not like sardines just are coming from one part of the world. That looks my scat. Are you saying I look like your scat? We're ready to be bankrupt. Not sure what he's talking about. I like sardines and mustard. I like sardines in tomato sauce. Surprisingly, I got some in here that are in tomato sauce, and they're just blow your mind. Like, wow. And I'm not a big fan of tomatoes at this moment. But those were really, really good. When I did that sardine fast for a week, I was just surprised. I have another one in hot sauce. That was way too hot. And I just learned yesterday that there's sardines in habanero. Oh, I want to try those. Now that's basically what my other YouTube channel is about. When I start to get some more products in the house, we're going to be doing some, unboxing and opening the cans, talking about the products, and letting you guys know what I think about it. I do have some stuff that I already like that I wanted to get started and do a short video and get those up on there. Oh, subscriptions are always awesome. But really, I only want people to subscribe if there's anything useful on my channel that they might find necessary. Weight loss is one of them. Weight loss with little to no exercise. That's worth subscribing to, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't. I do have a lot of repeat viewers that come back like every single week. They're not subscribed. And I can kind of tell by looking at my analytics, who's coming back and who's not. Also, I can tell what country they're watching from, which is nice. That's a pretty cool option there. So sometimes I get a flood of traffic from the UK. Other times I get a flood of traffic from Canada. Sometimes Australia, Germany, just random places around the world. It's so cool. But all right, guys, I am working on other videos. I need to get started. Well, I got some free time. I am so happy you guys joined me for this chuck roll butchering. It was a lot of fun. Very tasty. And what's left on my plate here, if you're just watching the stream, just random pieces of chuck roll that in most cases I would have considered stew meat and weren't going to be like super edible, if cooked in the air fryer. But the air fryer did some magic here. Everything's tender, everything's juicy. Since they weren't the same thickness, they all cooked a little bit differently. They all have their own little bitty strange textures and flavors. But ultimately, I think this is a winning combination for trying to do the carnivore diet extremely affordably with a lot of fat and a lot of red meat involved. There's so much connective tissue in a chuck roll too. It's just awesome. I have no complaints here. But hey, all right guys, I'm going to take off here. I wish everybody a great day, and I want everybody to be healthy and happy regardless of what types of food you eat. If you're on the standard American diet where you're eating overly processed foods and tons of seed oils, my best advice would be to try to cut down on a lot of those. Focus on meats more than carbohydrates. And if you're not healthy or you have other issues, the carnivore diet might be a solution for that. You can scour the internet for whatever conditions you have and put the carnivore diet at whatever diagnosis you have at the end. You might find somebody out there that's talking about how the carnivore diet solved that problem for them. That's basically what's happened to me. I've no chance of getting diabetes, dramatically lowered my chance of getting any type of cancer, especially colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, and stuff like that. That's almost not going to happen with what I eat now, because in order to get cancer, you have to have certain things going on inside your body, and fatty red meat does not provide any of those situations from potentially happening. So that's a winning situation there, right? I cured my sleep apnea. I had severe sleep apnea. I thought I was going to die from it. No more high blood pressure. Blood work is perfectly normal. I've done several blood tests in the last 2 years to check to see where I was at when I was doing the carnivore diet, and also when I was doing fasting, just to see how I was. And as soon as I started doing the carnivore diet, my blood markers were changing dramatically fast because I was getting so much nutritional red meat in there. So fast. It boggled my mind. I never thought, eating fatty red meat with all the dogma that was scattered around the world about don't eat fatty red meat, stay away from bacon, you know, don't eat too many eggs because of the cholesterol. Well, bull crap. You know, I've spent weeks, you know, one full week, I ate like 30 pounds of bacon. I did a baking fast, one of my most embarrassing attempts at debunking the carnivore diet. And I did blood work afterwards. And all I got from my doctor was, your blood pressure is great. Your blood markers are steadily improving. Your inflammation levels, you know, on their little chart are going down. You lost a considerable amount of weight too. Okay. That was after eating 30 pounds of bacon in a week. And I was like, kind of mad at that. And I did another week of eggs. You know, I was over 300 something pounds at that point. I did another week of just nothing but eggs. That's all I ate was eggs. I was in like a weird place, you know, because when you're incredibly unhealthy, you're eating a lot of unhealthy foods, especially sugars, and overeating carbohydrates. And the seed oils aren't helping help your brain. They don't help your brain function. Now, the cholesterol, I find out that the cholesterol actually helps brain function. We need it for brain function. Nobody told me that before. I didn't know that until I started doing stuff like this. Now I can remember all these things without any effort at all. I can talk about it without any effort at all. Yeah, bacon and eggs, guys. Autophagy is awesome. Learning how to fast was another great way to lose weight. But when I was just fasting alone, and people say, oh, well, your blood work's going to fix itself too, and you just do, you know, fasting or calorie deficit type stuff. Well, no, it didn't. It didn't when I was fasting. When I did my blood work then, it wasn't that much different. And I lost over 100 pounds at that point. And so when I started the carnivore diet, or even a piss poor carnivore diet, because I'm not perfect. I don't come out here to be Captain Carnivore. I'm not, you know, Captain like all the vegetables are out there to poison you. Don't eat fruit. I don't care. You can eat fruit. You can eat some vegetables. Just figure out what works for you. Because most of these carnivores that come out here and claim they're 100%, they're really not as 100% as they claim. And then they have to make these silly little, you know, videos if somebody catches them eating something silly. So I never went that route of being like, oh, I'm Captain Carnivore. I only eat meats and fats. Well, primarily, yes, I do eat a lot of meats and fats. That's what I focus on, number one. And then if I'm going to eat something else, like eat all this plate of meat, okay, if I want to get in the pantry and get something foolish, you know, like a cookie or a piece of candy, it's not going to hurt me anymore, you know, because I already filled up on fatty red meat with a lot of nutrition. It's just how I do it. And then if I want to lose some more weight, I just eat specific foods, you know, ketogenic, safe foods, which I have a list of, and that keeps me losing weight consistently. That's how I've been doing this for the last 2 years. So 435 pounds down to what, 262 point something pounds this week in under 2 years. I just keep that in mind. Like, okay, if I want to lose a little bit more weight, I know what to eat. And I've been losing weight while eating food. I've even figured out how to lose weight while I'm asleep. I mean, I don't eat nearly as much anymore as I used to because I don't require the snacks that other people think they need. If I'm sitting in a big truck, I don't require calories to sit in a big truck. I require calories at the end of the day. I process the majority of those calories while I'm asleep. And then by the next day, I'm fully energized to go to work for the next 12 to 15 hours. And then I come home and eat, go to bed. And they say, don't eat before go to bed. Well, I broke that rule too. That's all I do is I eat before I go to bed, and I'm losing weight. So, yeah, I mean, if there's a rule out there when it involves weight loss, I think I broke it. Losing weight with no exercise is one of them. Losing weight while you sleep is another one. Getting healthy while eating 30 pounds of bacon. Getting healthy while eating crazy amounts of eggs. All fatty red meat for a period of time. You know, at least 30 days was my longest stretch of beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. And I felt amazing when I was done. I felt so amazing. It was like, well, why would I want to eat a piece of pizza? Or why would I want to do this or have a piece of cheesecake? Well, because sometimes you just do. But as long as you know what to do after you're done eating that pizza or after you're done eating that cheesecake, you just come back to this. And you can make all different kinds of meats. You can make sausages. You can make eggs. Yeah, steak. All kinds of stuff. Burgers. You want to have a little bit of dairy? Go ahead. Might slow down your weight loss if you add dairy, but not a big deal. All right, guys. Yes, Mr. Straight Up, no chaser. I am in Alaska. Yes. Let's see. About getting a Costco membership for meat. Costco membership would be a great idea. Costco or Sam's Club. We don't have a Sam's Club here in Alaska anymore, so I can't comment on meat prices at Sam's Club, but I would imagine they got to be better than going to Walmart or one of your local grocery stores. But if you really want to be able to do the carnivore diet the most affordable way, the Costco membership pays you back. So every single year, we get paid back our membership at the end of the year because we have a Costco right down the road. We have one that way and we have one that way, and we use them both. So if we do all of our bulk meat shopping there, you know, like today, I spent $332 on a Costco shopping haul. Not everything was meat. Some of it was like Ziploc bags, smoked oysters, but I got 2 big giant chunks of meat out of there. Man, I still got to process that ribeye that's in the fridge too. I should have done that while we were doing the stream. I'm not going to drag you guys through that one. That's easy now. You know, I figured out how to somewhat process a chuck roll. That was like hurting my head trying to figure out how to process a chuck roll. I wasn't sure. What did I just do? I need to like, there we go. But yeah, I mean, the membership pays for itself. It sounds like it pays for itself at Sam's Club too. So that's a winning deal, but only if you can actually get there and do some shopping. So we can shop at Costco, you know, once every week. It makes the membership worthwhile. So, and we get the benefits back at the end of the year because we're using the crap out of it. Plus we can get discounted fuel there, which is very nice, by the way. Yeah, this is great. Wow. Chuck roll in the air fryer makes something really amazing. Wow. Okay. You know, I'm pretty sure that wacky stew meat wouldn't come out so great in the air fryer. You need bigger chunks of chuck roll to make it work in the air fryer. To make it work out really, really well. Like you get like steak, like, you know, pieces of chuck roll that are tender, juicy, and edible. That's my take on that. I think that was the deciding factor is I had bigger chunks of meat. So like this would be a traditional size piece of stew meat, you know, that a lot of places would just cut up chuck roll into. And then they'd sell this to you in a smaller package. This little tiny piece is not going to cook well in an air fryer. It's not going to do the same thing. The fat isn't going to render down quite the same. It's just going to burn the outside and make it not so tender and juicy on the inside. So if it's a bigger piece, it works really well. Now, juicy and delicious like any other type of steak I've ever ate. You know, ribeye, New York cut, top sirloin. And it's a really pleasant experience, even with the random silver skin that comes in chuck roll. And the random fats that are just randomly placed throughout the meat in a chuck roll. Wow, that's still, look at that, it's beautiful, it's dripping. Yeah, I am not upset with the amount of money I spent on that chuck roll now. At 32 pounds. 32 pounds of meat for $192. Let's see. I've seen people shred beef, then fry in an air fryer like crisp jerky snuff. Yeah, that's an option. I mean, you could take this and freeze it, cut it real thin slices, dehydrate it in the air fryer, and you can make yummy chips out of that. But when you're making stuff like beef jerky with real fatty meat, you got to eat that stuff pretty quickly. You can't just package it and let it sit, or put it in a Ziploc and just hope it stays good, because it's not going to stay good forever. It could go rancid. That's why they say when you're making beef jerky, try not to use the fattier bites, you know, fattier cuts of meat. But if you're like me and you're like on a seafood diet or you see food and you want to eat it, you know, make up a batch or two and polish it off in 2 or 3 days. You're never going to have a problem with anything going bad or rancid. The juice on the plate is like it's like putting A1 steak sauce on there. It's so good. It's so full of the salt and the beef. Got a little bit of the beef tallow mixed in there. Yeah, that's like using Worcestershire sauce or A1 steak sauce, but I don't use sauces anymore. Oh, bacon chips? Yeah, those sound good. Alright, I got my video for this week's weight loss update. It's a very embarrassing video, probably one of the most embarrassing videos I have ever made so far. Talking about a very, very specific personal problem. I'm gonna walk over to the computer here. I'll just take you guys with me. What the heck? I'm gonna go ahead and get that video released. So if you guys wanna check it out after the stream, I'm gonna talk about a very important issue that a lot of us face that not many people are talking about. I'm at my computer. I got a mouthful of steak. But yeah, look at me, guys. Go back and check out one of my playlists and go back to the very first week of my weight loss journey and take a look at who I was then compared to who I am now. Okay, everything is done. Oh, hey, I don't want to do that. There we go. We're going to make this video go public like right now. All right, if you're curious about the video title, it's called My Carnivore Diet Disaster. What went wrong? That's what you're looking for. Okay? There we go. I just released that video. It's out roaming the internet now. And hopefully somebody likes it. I don't know. I don't expect anything when I upload videos. I expect zero. When I first started my weight loss journey, I expected this many people to watch it. I was just making weight loss videos for my own accountability. That's where I started all of this. I didn't think they were very good. They didn't get very many views. I didn't care at that point. I was just trying to lose weight and find a process that would work for me and share with people what did work for me and what didn't work for me. And yeah, I just wanted to put it out there. And so far, I've had several people look over my channel, you know, doctors, health nutritionists and stuff, and they're like, dang, you have a really well documented weight loss journey. You know, because I was doing a video every weekend. So I do 7 days and then I make a video on the weekend, post it. Didn't matter if it was good or bad. I just had it there. I talked about what I did through the week, the types of foods I was eating, the types of mistakes I might have made. And I had some horrible weeks. I still posted those videos. Those were the hardest ones. The only time I think I missed a week of an actual upload was because I was either out of communication, didn't have communication, or something just went dramatically wrong, and I missed that 1 week. But yeah, I have so many weeks and I got to the point where I had so many weeks compiled, I stopped counting them. I was like, I'm not counting this many weeks. I'm already a year and a half in. I was like, just counting all the weeks is just ridiculous. It's like, why? It's like some of the people that are doing the carnivore diet, they count carnivore days. Like, I've been carnivore 762. It's like, I hear that and I'm like, okay, you want a reward for that. That's awesome. But I do see the importance to some people as to why they count the days, you know, because it helps them stay accountable, similar to me just uploading a video every single week. But the counting, I had to stop. It had to stop somewhere. And then I had to start working on other stuff, you know, like different foods, different recipes, just other stuff. And I don't see this channel ever getting big. I just don't. I don't know. If I can't keep up with it. For one thing, there's too many carnivores out here in the community talking about the carnivore diet, and we're all saying a lot of the same stuff. And it just depends on whose voice you want to listen to get that information from, because I didn't believe anybody when I first started the carnivore diet. I thought everybody was full of crap, just like every other diet I've tried before. I mean, I tried the keto diet, I tried vegan, I tried vegetarian, fell on my face with both of those diets. You know, I was like, gonna try Jenny Craig or something ridiculous like that, where they send you like these pre-made meals. But that's ridiculous. That's not sustainable. When you're buying products, your diet is already not sustainable. So if you can't figure out how to lose weight, stay healthy with minimal amount of products, and that's kind of where I fall in that category. Is I talk about budget weight loss. You know, I don't want anybody to spend $90 on a health powder. You know, buy protein powder. What for? You know, buy this or that. It's like you don't need to. Go buy steak. Go buy meat. Okay, there's your products that I promote. Sometimes I'll talk about my vitamins, what I take. Yeah, I take certain vitamins, but I only take a handful of certain vitamins. You know, B1, D3, a little bit of zinc, some fish oil. I mean, my vitamins are pretty simple. Magnesium glycinate before bedtime, specifically before bedtime. Magnesium glycinate is a win-all to get rid of leg cramps, and it also relaxes your entire body, and you sleep like a baby. Yeah, I would highly recommend magnesium glycinate to anybody experiencing muscle cramping. It's not all just drink water. You get muscle cramps. People go eat bananas and then they drink water. They think that's gonna fix it. Well, no, the only thing that fixed your muscle cramps was something temporary, and that's called movement of the muscle to go get the water and to go grab said banana. But now that you ate the banana at 2 in the morning, you just created a insulin spike at that point, and that is no longer providing you weight loss while you're sleeping because you broke your fast at 2 in the morning, and you're going to sleep until 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So that's kind of like you already ate breakfast and you already shot that whole algorithm of how the body works. Because as soon as we wake up, every morning we get a natural insulin spike. That natural insulin spike is done on purpose. That's so in case we have to suddenly wake up and defend ourselves, you have that energy jolt, you know, to your system. Like, all right, I got to run. I got to get out of here. There's trouble coming. You know, a tiger's attacking me or just something you don't know. I mean, but that natural insulin spike was set there by Mother Nature for all of us when we first wake up. And again, making breakfast incredibly unnecessary. I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat lunch. If I do, I eat lunch on the weekends, maybe. But that's it. And then all through the week, I'm just eating dinner. That's it. Dinner time. I eat dinner. Now, I might get to a point where I might need to eat lunch at some point. But once I reach my goal weight is where I'm talking about here. So I get to my goal weight because I do OMAD specifically for weight loss maintenance and also for potential weight loss throughout the week. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the body just wants to regulate itself or just calm the heck down for a couple weeks because I just lost like 13 pounds the week before type stuff. So naturally it's going to like balance out water weight and stuff like that. You know, it keeps some extra water weight on anyways when you start adding food back in from a fast. Because now you need that extra water to make your digestive system work and make all your other vital organs work while you're providing food in the system. I mean, everything all makes sense. It's all simple stuff. It's stuff the health coaches, health nutritionists, and doctors don't really talk about much. For one, the doctors don't have time. They got about 15 minutes of your time when you're in there to get a diagnosis. And if you can't eloquently discuss what all your symptoms are, or come in with some pretty well written notes about what's going on, they can only go off some like hodgepodge puzzle that you hand them when you're talking about what you had happen, or you know, symptoms they might be able to see visually helps. But if they can't see what's going on with you and they're just taking your word for certain things, it's really hard to diagnose a person. And that's where all the prescription pushing comes in. It's like, oh, well, you said you had itchy. Here's this prescription. See you later. Let me know if it works for you. If you have any side effects, be sure to get a hold of me. That's the end of that. I mean, I haven't had a prescription drug in over 2 years now. I got rid of them all. I don't have to use it anymore. You know, and I had like, what was it? Allergy medication was a bad one with me. Okay, I was pretty allergic to everything, but that was because my diet sucked. I mean, I was eating a lot of processed foods. I was eating a lot of vegetables that weren't prepared correctly. So if you're doing a vegan diet, vegetarian diet, learn how to prepare your vegetables correctly. if you're going to eat vegetables at all. I'm not against it. You need to learn how to do the diet, and that's why the diet sucks. You know, a vegan diet really sucks because it doesn't provide everything you need, and that's why the vegans are typically in age ranges from 16 to 35 years old. Because if they started at 16 and they made it to 35, they found out they're so vitamin deficient in so many areas, and they're actually hurting themselves. And a lot of us, we got like kidney stones, we got all kinds of issues with our liver, all because of a heavy plant-based diet and all the extra oxalates that come, especially when eating raw vegan. I mean, raw vegan can be very, very dangerous because the oxalates are always higher in vegetables when they're not cooked. You want to reduce the vegetables and make it safer. You know, the oxalates in the vegetables, you got to cook it. You got to prepare it. Same thing goes with nuts. You got to cook it. You got to roast the peanuts to reduce the oxalates. You know, it's just like an avocado, super high in oxalates, almost a poisonous amount if you were to eat it raw. So it's important to let an avocado get ripened before you're going to eat it. Other than that, it's, you know, once it's ripened, it's pretty healthy. I mean, I'll still eat an avocado once in a while, and it's also somewhat keto friendly. It's a good natural vegetable type fat. It's like, some people call it Mother Nature's butter, and in some cases it's kind of like that. It resembles butter in some ways. Let's see. Homeschool says, you have symptoms of what? The vape is fine though. I don't mind the vapes, considering if I smoke cigarettes, that's a lot worse. So vaping is about 99.9% safer than smoking traditional cigarettes or chewing tobacco. So yeah, I don't mind the vapes. If I ditch the vapes and I ditch nicotine altogether, I am a miserable cow, and I'm gonna tackle my nicotine addiction at some point in this weight loss journey, because I tried to do that when I first got my weight loss journey started, like right after my first 100 pounds of weight loss. I lost 100 pounds in 15 weeks. That was pretty fast. And then I lost some more after that. I think I lost another 25 pounds, maybe 25, 30 pounds. And then I tried quitting smoking, you know, mid-swing weight loss journey. Bad idea. Tackle one addiction at a time, man. You know, you either tackle the smoking and accept the weight loss, you know, going the other way, you're going to gain some weight. I gained about 25, 30 pounds when I quit smoking. And I'm not mentally stable at that point because I'm pretty new to the weight loss type thing, the lifestyle type thing. It was a travesty in my brain. I was all kinds of screwed up in here. I couldn't grasp the idea, like, you know, so I tried to find alternatives to smoking cigarettes. So vaping, yeah, that's a solution. Hey there, Lindy. And that comment disappeared. The hubby said Costco. Balone Hissy. I don't know how to say that name and botched it up. Where'd you get that slab of meat? I got that at Costco, like a Costco Business Center to be exact, because I watched another YouTuber's video about how they go to Costco and they get these chuck rolls in a case, and that was an option too. But it wasn't the price wasn't any different if I bought a case or if I just bought a single chuck roll. So either way, it was $5.99 a pound. So buying an entire case didn't bring the price down at all. The cases were sitting directly below the individually sold chuck rolls. So I could actually compare the price that if I bought that case or not. So I was like, well, you know, I could spend $300-400 on an entire case and I'd have way too much meat than I can handle. Or I can just experiment with one single chuck roll and see how that works. And yeah, crazy. It was a fun little experiment, making steaks out of it. Cooking it in the air fryer was a good move. It definitely reassured me that I made a good choice when I made a meat purchase this time, because I was on a fence. Like, I don't know how buying a whole chuck roll is going to work out for me, or how it's going to turn out in the air fryer. So I wanted to give it a try. Turned out great, by the way. All right, let's see what's going on. That's the nice thing about having your computer like right here. All right, come on. Do stuff. Oh, 4 of you already watched the video already? I just uploaded it. It was like a few minutes ago. Let's see. Let's go to my content screen, see what's going on. I gotta enlarge everything. Oh, it's already got 7 views. I used to get so excited every time I sit there when I first started making YouTube videos and see if anybody was watching. It doesn't mean they're watching the whole thing, you know, because some people will just watch like the first few minutes and be like, why did I click on this? I don't want to watch any of this. Or sometimes you just get incredibly boring when creating videos. I understand that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, people dip out. But I found out just looking at, because I've been doing a lot of focusing on my channel lately, doing some new thumbnails, doing some new titles to old videos. But for the most part, people dip out right after I talk about my weight loss. Like, how much weight did I lose? It's like as soon as they get that number, they're out. They're out. That's where the whole video dips in view duration. That's how I can gauge, like, all right, so where am I going to put my weight loss in each video? I try to mix it around a little bit, you know, with the minutes. Like, okay, I'm going to put it at like 8 minutes, or the next time I'm going to put it at 10 minutes. And then other times I'll experiment putting my weight loss in the video really early on, like in the first 5 or 6 minutes. And on average, that's about when people start dipping out. They're like, oh, we got what we needed from the video, now we're gone. Like, he only lost X amount of pounds, or he didn't lose any weight. So when you're doing weight loss content and your whole genre is basically around health, nutrition, and your actual weight loss, and you don't lose any weight, I mean, that just fires up the haters. But the beautiful thing about the haters is they're viewers too. They watch my stuff. They help pay my bills. You know, they might not like my videos, but okay, you're still watching it. You're still supporting the cause, even if you don't like me. That's the fun part. Jill says she likes my long videos. I appreciate that, Jill. Some people were asking me to create longer videos, and I'm just like, man, at that point, I didn't know how. I didn't know how to make super long videos because I didn't see the views on my shorter form videos being worthwhile to make like hour-long videos. Now, I can do the live streams well now. So, I mean, I could potentially make longer videos, but trying to keep people locked in and interested and not have a boring, dull moment is really hard to accomplish when you're looking at, you know, videos over a half an hour. And I've posted some videos over half an hour that did pretty well, but I think if I cut out a lot of the stuff, because people aren't interested in when you're doing video creation, they're not interested in your personal life. They're interested in the meat and potatoes of what the title and thumbnail are, as a general rule. Now, if I can hit all the aspects of title and thumbnail within 15 minutes, and then I can add personal, you know, stuff towards the end, that's where it's appropriate to put, you know, like, hey, what's happening in my life type stuff. I found that out right away, and it's just part of the basic formula. And, you know, in the weight loss community, it's really hard to get people to watch anything you do. I mean, it is, because there's so many sad stories out there. It seems like the saddest sob stories, the ones that are really good at telling stories, doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's false either. But they're the ones that get the most views. You know, if you can create an emotional connection, you know, a relatable connection where people will experience it. And I just try to be honest no matter what I do. I just try to put out the truth. Like, hey, this happened, this sucked. Hey, this happened, this was a miracle. You know, that type of stuff. Because doesn't matter what type of video I create. I don't want to be creating fake crap videos, you know, about stuff that just jerks people around. I don't want to be giving you half the information either, because that pisses me off. That's one thing that's always pissed me off about the health and nutritional fields, is they only give you a little bit of the information, and it's never enough to get a successful conclusion so you can help yourself. That's hard to do. Jesus is Lord. Thank you, G. Brady. God is good all the time. Yeah, God is fantastic all the time. Amazing. Yeah, hiya from Scotland. Ooh, Glasgow. Awesome reach. I like that. Now, this is why I wanted to create this new, it's going to be like a canned meat review channel. I wanted to create that channel because I know I can reach so many more people in so many different environments of YouTube. You know, you can reach out to the preppers, you can reach out to, you know, canned meat enthusiasts, and yeah, there's a crowd for that. You know, people that are interested in different canned meats from around the world. And I'm kind of excited to get that started. I probably should have been starting some videos on it now, but I get tied up in these live streams, and I love the live streams because you guys talk, and you're able to, I can respond to you as you comment here, and that just makes it so much more fun. That gives me a sincere connection with the people that are watching. I am a comparative religion researcher. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Okay, I can say with 1000% certainty that Jesus Christ was not God. I can prove this from Bible. Well, that's amazing. You can have your own beliefs. It's totally acceptable here. Let's see. Good afternoon. Hey there, Polenta. Nice to see you there. Now, I went on a big, long, religious, spiritual journey for many years. When I was driving trucks down in Lower 48, I visited just about every denomination of church imaginable. Some of them were quite intense. Some of the Pentecostal churches in the Deep South were very intense. I went to one where they locked the doors and didn't want people to leave until after the service. That was a little scary. The people are dancing around and they're singing, doing their praise and doing their stuff, and it was crazy. And then I went to another church where people thought they were speaking in tongues. So it was sounded like a bunch of gibberish in the room. Like, I don't think that was disconnected. Usually when it starts to disconnect like that, that means my stream's like approaching close to 2 hours, because sometimes it just dips because other stuff's going on my internet. But that's the fun part about religion. They're mysterious mass. Sorry, I got weird eyesight, so I got these stupid progressive glasses, where you gotta like look through the top to see far away, and then you gotta look through the bottom like bifocals. Incredibly hard to drive with, so I just have the far vision ones for driving down the road, and I rarely ever use the ones where I can read stuff. I don't know, maybe I can. Let's try them. I have them right here. So these are the ones with the progressive lenses. I have a hard time. If you try to walk downstairs with progressive lenses, you like trip over your feet. Can I read that from here? Oh, a little bit. Yeah, there we go. If I look up like that, I can see Billy Wallace without squinting my eyes. Religion is all faith, no knowing. Well, the majority of religion, yes, it is faith-based. And yeah, I have known Jesus Christ since I was a very, very young child, and nobody told me who Jesus was. I mean, this is how I became to understand who he was. I saw a cross with Jesus on it, and I knew who he was right away. And I knew he was somebody important, somebody I should learn a little bit more about. The Bible just helped me learn a few more things, even though the Old Testament was rather hard to read and confusing at times. The New Testament's a little bit easier to digest. Now, since my first name is John, I used to try to read, the John chapters, and I could never understand them. And I didn't realize until later on in life, when I went to a Bible school in Missouri. It's called College Heights. It was in Dunaway, Missouri, or Joplin, Missouri. But it was an amazing church, and they did have a college there. But their church services and their Sunday schools were quite amazing. They had old school church for the old school people that used to like to go to regular mass and stuff like that. And then they had like a new upbeat type church where they had like singing, music, a little bit of dancing, some Christian rock, which I enjoyed quite a bit. But ultimately, it was the Sunday school classes that just blew me away, because that's where I learned so much about Jesus Christ, so much about our Lord, so much about other people too, because there's a lot of people that go to church and they are just judging you for everything. It's like, man, you gotta keep them at arm's reach. Don't let them get too tight in your circle, even though you're all there for somewhat similar causes. But everybody is walking a different path when it comes to religion. Some people are trying to find answers. Other people are just trying to hang around people that think and agree like they do. And my search and my journey was totally different than most, because I was wandering the entire country looking for am I even on the right path? Do I feel like I'm on the right path? Am I doing the right journey? And I mean, I visited, the Mormons in Salt Lake City. I've been up in there. I've been down into their genealogy department. Looked up ancestral history and stuff like that when I was in Salt Lake City. That was awesome. That was a good time. And I spent a lot of time with the Mormons just trying to figure them out. And the ones that I met were really polite. They were all super nice. One thing they don't like is unemployed people. If you walk into a Mormon community and you're jobless, they are going to give you a job. Doesn't mean you're going to like your job, but they will put you to work. They'll give you food. They'll help feed you, but they want you to do some work for it. So it's not like anybody gets a free handout in the community. I thought that was fascinating. Because there's not a whole lot of homeless going on in Salt Lake City. And Salt Lake City is a very unique city. If you've never been there before in your life, take a trip there, especially if you live somewhat close by. The streets are unique. They're like 6 lanes wide in downtown. And sometimes, like, in the middle of the day, there's no traffic. It's so incredible. But anyways, but did he resurrect? Of course he resurrected. Jesus said himself, he has a God in Matthew 24:46. Interesting. I don't know the Bible verse by verse, and I don't really think it's necessary either. I have seen a lot of very heated debates about the Bible, about the Quran, and I've read quite a bit of the Quran too. And I was actually fascinated to see how the two compare really, really well. I was like, man, they have a lot of similarities, in the Quran as they do in the Bible. That was fascinating to learn. But we are getting way off topic from what I normally do. My video is up and it's ready to go. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's go refresh the page. See where it's at now. Might have some comments I need to go respond to. Refreshing the page. We're up to 15 views, 5 likes. Oh, somebody gave me a dislike on my video. I like those ones. The funny thing is when you dislike a video, it actually pushes the video more to more people. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. I'm going to bug out here. Have a good time. Love your life. Eat more fatty red meats and other stuff on your plate. That's really where I'm at. It works.